And no, Nagato, he's trying to fight everybody out Bo's right-clicking way, but he can't take everybody. Chuan's low, but Navi players are dying. 3's dead. GG's goal!
Ladies and gents, welcome to the International West Qualifiers. I'm James.
I'm Bruno.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah.
We didn't even do a rehearsal, but you knew your name.
Yes.
How are you, Bruno?
I'm great. I know my name, so I'm happy.
Yeah, that's always a good way to wake up in the morning. Sometimes I don't.
No, it's hard.
Yeah, it's bad, yeah.
When you don't know the name of the person next to you, that's even worse.
That's normal. Hey, Andy, how's it going?
You know, what I love about that shot, by the way, is that you can actually not tell if Bruno's shirt is even buttoned because it's so wide on the way down that it just stops. Oh, there we go. See, now you've ruined the allure.
Well,
maybe the female viership is disappointed.
now I can actually unbutton everything and no one will know.
True
I
that,
have-
true that.
I ironed my shirt today.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You
it
did? But you're
shows.
wearing a shirt under it, so that doesn't
Not
count.
this one, but I did iron a shirt. Not wearing it. It was too ironed. I didn't want to put it on. And it was bad. Hey, Mike.
We're live, Mike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
Mike.
live, Mike. Seriously.
What do you want? Why were you talking about your shirt on stream?
Because
Why-
it's
why
relevant,
not?
because my shirt's on stream. It's his first camera appearance for the International.
When it
Yeah,
comes
we are
when
live.
it
No, we are 100% live.
Anyway, yeah, welcome to the International. It's the final day of Group B. We got 3 teams remaining. Yesterday, EG came out on top. Let's say hi to Webhaz. We haven't said hi to Webhaz. How are you doing today,
Hi.
Webhaz?
I'm good. Feeling good. Had a bit of a headache before, but I'm excited for these games anyway. So
You had a headache.
The hair is
Yeah.
rebelling.
How did you get a headache?
I don't know. Didn't drink or eat enough.
What did you do to rectify the situation?
I had sushi.
Did it
and
work?
Some drinks. Yeah.
There we go.
Sushi
Worked well.
cures headaches.
Yes.
Sushi cures headaches.
The cure for everything.
I had yakiniku. It
Did
was
you?
delicious.
That's really
lovely.
good as well.
Japanese food cures headache.
It gets really bad because every time we go there, I'm like, I should try something else. I tried chicken dumplings. I'm like, yakiniku, it's
You
fine.
should try the
Scriff
yakitori
doesn't like
instead.
sushi, you know that, right?
Yeah,
Steve
that's
doesn't like
why he's not on
anything.
camera.
I don't. Yeah.
I thought you knew me. Every time, you and me. Every fucking time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Scriff. I should have gotten green curry. But anyway, we're well fed. We're ready for the games. Let's take a look at the brackets and see where we're going to today. All the matches start at 5:30. So it's going to be 5:30. Unless you're like checking out Join Dota on their match ticker, they get it wrong pretty much all the time. So I actually think IC Cup are in the lobby waiting.
Yeah.
And Cupid Red Pandas know they're turning up at 5:30. But we start the games here at like 25 minutes past because we have a 6-minute delay. So at 5:30 you should be getting the game started. But we'll go over what happened yesterday. We can see that Mouse Sports beat IC Cup in a very close game, at least series, 2-1. The last game was definitely in favor of Mouse Sports. EG stomped Cupid Red Pandas and then proceeded to not lift up their boot and continue stomping as they went over Mouse Sports, and they were the clear favourites of Group B and also one of the favourites now for the whole tournament. They're currently boot camping off in Arizona, I believe. I think that's where the boot camp house is for EG. Bambo's there standing, but they just played amazingly as a team. So the first match we're going to is going to be Cupid Red Pandas versus IC Cup. It's going to be a best of 3. Both teams, it's hard to call who's going to win just based off IC Cup performed well yesterday against Mouse Sports. And you can see that they've really tightened up their strats and how they play as a team. And Cupid Red Pandas got to play against arguably the strongest team in the tournament. Played okay, but certainly nowhere near good enough to beat EG. So this is really a test of who is going to come out of those two and to move on to play Mouse Sports in just a little bit. But did you enjoy yesterday, Bruno?
Yesterday was really good. We got to see the true power of EG. EG, the team that have beaten Navi 2-0 recently, last week. They were looking strong, but people were saying, well, EG has this reputation of throwing games. Maybe they're still like inconsistent. I was one of the people that believed that. And no, they've shown me that they can win 2-0, 2-0 super easy. And they advance to the next group, where they will face Rockskis.
Yeah, and also in the other group is going to be DD Dota. So, Andy, what have you got here, Andy?
I just wanna-
You lifted your finger at us.
Yeah, I just want to throw this in there because, like Bruno said, EG had known for throwing in the past. And then their new 5th player is Bambo. I had my doubts, I'll be honest. But yesterday, of course, they proved that they are the team to be reckoned with. And I can't wait for the first matches. I just want to see how Cupid and IC Cup actually match up.
Yeah, but you like Bambo, how he plays.
Yeah, I do. Well, obviously he's better than me, but I compare his style to how I play, which is extremely reckless. And I even say it all the time if anybody watches my stream. I'm not going to plug it, but I have this style of greedy play that I think that he does too, but he does it better than me. So I aspire to be a Bambo.
Yeah.
He's more high risk,
Bambo
high reward,
Dota.
though.
What?
He's more high risk, high reward.
Yeah, he is. He is.
There is a little
really
Bambo
high
inside all
risk.
of us.
All of us, yeah.
Yes, all right. I like it.
I mean, he can fit. So.
There's a Bambo. Fair enough. So we can actually take a look at yesterday's games. We've got a nice little recap video, once again made by McCormick. Currently, he's had one video crash, one was successful. He's at a 50-50 win ratio here at the Good Studio. So fighting for his life and his job, here's a video by McCormick.
They're actually going for another smoke gank here. They're going to find Koikwa out.
Oh, RP only hits the bear. Not so good by Resolution. He actually gets shackled, trying to secure back. Fata going to find Zik right now. Always want to fly, throwing out an defensive cog, trying to cause some disruption, but it's just not going to matter. Jackal getting caught. 3-man RP this time, coming out of Resolution, but his gyrocopter's already dead. There's no damage follow-up. Resolution going to skewer over the cliff, as we're also going to see Quakefa pick up the double kill right there. Mag going down. Resolution soon to follow. Always want to fly. Going to be joining the ranks of the dead here. This team is actually the real deal. They're going to catch Fata, but the Dark Pack actually dispels the Scythe of Ice right there. Shackle going to be coming out onto Resolution. He's not going to get a split off just yet. Here comes the hook shot onto Cinderin. Resolution going to get grip up. Pause just dies way too fast. Here comes the Primal Split. This is an Aghanims level 16 Primal Split. Fata chasing down, always want to fly in the back. He is just barely going to be able to get the kill, but forfeits his own life in the process. That was a 5-man wipe. And Resolution are both here, or going to be scouting them out up in the high ground, but Fato actually wants to go in. He's going to initiate straight away. Going to be able to take out Zik with the help of Black. There was an infestation inside. Jackal stuck inside of the ice path, and that's going to be 2 quick deaths going in favor of Mouse. They want to try to find Mag. The Earn is going to be there. Resolution goes back in. He actually gets Fata, and a nice double split Earth, followed by the ice path comes out from Mouse, and I dare say things have spiraled out of control here for Icy Cup. They simply can't find a kill. Mag trying to make it away. It looks like he will survive for the time being, but at what cost?
They are smoked up. A sentry does come down from many, so they do see it. And
Oh, they're going to find Select.
On to Select. Great counter sheet from Wagger, and they're actually going to get a kill on Demon. This is huge.
Oh, nice 3-man RP coming out from Select. Jo, Fear, and Bambo. Oh, caught inside. Beatus gets the steal, has a blink of his own, tries to turn it around. Bambo spinning on all 3 heroes. Select with a Skira onto Beatus. Looks like Singh is going to go down first. He immediately buys back into the game. It's an ultra kill for Jo. The damage output just way too much. The flak cannon obliterating everyone.
Yep,
they
are gonna
absolutely
go for
need
it,
to
so
go.
They do know that they have to go in. And let's see how this goes down as Select initiates.
Jo stuck in the cogs all by himself, and he's completely isolated from the team right now. Bambo comes in with a nice counter ravage, but Singh just gets bursted down. Jo with a nice armor toggle. He's still not going to be going down. They have absolutely no damage. The Infest is there, the AoE damage output, and the GG is called by QPad. Considering it's 24 minutes in, EG might even just want to go on this. The Bears just leading the charge right now. Jo potentially looking for a route, but he's not going to find anyone at the moment. He's going on Quakefa. Quakefa not able to get the surge. Fata looking for a lasso. Not sure he's going for it just yet, but Quakefa caught out completely, and he's going to be able to mech. He gets rooted in place though. Cinderin, he wants the epicenter, but Fear just casually walks away. Demon taking quite a bit of damage. A call down is here, and this is the damage that they actually needed to have, but Black still drops. The only one down on the side of EG is going to be Demon, but he has that Aegis. Beat is going to be the next one to go down. Shadow Demon in the back line, not able to live through. Jo solo on HP. Paz trying to get away, but he gets bashed. Free initiation tool that they're looking for, and that's scary because here we go. You're gonna see Quake, but get lasted up straight away. The ice pad is gonna come out. Demon actually unable to get the RP. He gets disrupted as well. That might have actually done more harm than good. The haste rune gonna get popped by Demon. He wants to try to re-engage Bambo. He's gonna get coiled in place. Black now coming in with the Fiend script. It's gonna be on Fata, and a beautiful RP comes out from Demon. Hits all 3, but the Unstable Concoction actually getting a counter stun of 3. Mouse actually holding this fight quite well, but it seems like EG might be a little bit too strong. Quakefa trying to run away, but he's running right into a tombstone. Looks like Fear actually denied one of his own zombies. This Alchemist is going to end up dying as well. Posk trying to chase down Fear, but the old man, as LD says, he just won't die.
Quite a good RP going.
And Bambo looking for a lasso here, off on the side. Jayo still attacking. He wants to try to get the melee racks. Oh, here comes Bambo. He's going to be able to catch Quake, but pulls him outside of the base. Fata with the immediate counter initiation. BK thieved by Demon. He manages to hit 2. It's going to be Fata and Quake, but both stuck outside of their base. There's going to be a buyback from Fata once again. Black trying to make something happen, but really just can't do much of anything. Quakepa going to be the next one to drop right here. It's a 3-for-0 exchange so far. Cinderin has the earn charge. Is going to be chased down by zombies. Give a triple kill to Fear. Old man Dota seemingly just too strong in this game.
So there you have it. That was yesterday's recap where EG just looked so dominant. Also, I think I said Bambo was a stand-in for some reason a little bit earlier, but I meant he's the
new player,
new addition to the team.
I forgive you, James. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes.
You
Except
get one a day.
Have you used it up already?
Yes.
Weapons?
Huh?
Your hair's a mistake.
No.
So you're walking a thin line over there, buddy.
Gee.
Actually, I'm kind of ready to start the games in terms of where I want to go now because I know we have to wait a little bit. But
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
We got like 24 minutes, man.
Yeah. Well, no.
No, we're starting at 24.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I
18
have
minutes.
17 minutes
17 minutes.
to fill with content and
Yes.
talk.
And I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
Content and colorful shirts.
Colorful
worn by
shirts,
Bruno.
of which I have plenty.
I could never get away with wearing something like that. I think it's Argentinian that lets you do
I'm
that.
You have to
impressed,
start.
I'm impressed you're wearing a shirt.
Yeah, that's true. I probably shouldn't even worn one. You can't really tell the difference. It's about the same color as my skin, so it's like, so why not, right?
Everyone thinks you're just over there topless with some random button-looking tattoos
Thing.
over your body. But yeah, today's. If you're going to build a storyline up to it, it's pretty much. Are they Q-pad or are they Q-bad?
Mm-hmm.
If they lose the IC Cup and they got the invite and lost 2 straight games, you can't fault them for losing to EG in a way, but
Yeah.
it's like still you want to beat them. But if they lose the IC Cup, Q-pad are going to be ridden off in terms of in a big way to a lot of people out there.
Mm-hmm.
If they manage to take down IC Cup and move on to play Mouse Sports, that game still, as many people mentioned, in favour of Mouse Sports. But if they show good signs versus IC Cup, they could do well versus Mouse Sports. So we'll see. That second place still up for grabs.
Yes.
And IC Cup as well. It's like they went 2-1 versus Mouse, but they did play versus a Slark. They lost to it game 1. They countered it game 2. Mouse Sports brought their normal lineup for game 3, and it was all over from the get-go on game 3 in terms of Mouse Sports just played great. So IC Cup and Q-pad, man, it's I don't know if you can call it in terms of how they're going to do, because we saw from IC Cup yesterday, just they had good rotation, they had good team fights, they were on point in terms of they were playing as a team in 5-man fights, and they were doing good. The little skirmishes were decent as well. But what was very noticeable was they were really playing as 5. And they had to in the game that they played because they played versus a Slark. But the point is like that team was all on the same page, and that's huge. And you saw Q-pad, some of their fights, it's like someone's committing to tower, someone's committing to a hero, and some of their little fights, they were pulling too many directions, and then they weren't successful with this. So IC Cup probably look a little bit better in terms of the team play they brought yesterday.
I would agree with that, actually. And for me, this entire qualifier so far has been more about the supports and the carry play, actually, than anything else. There have been a couple of games where I feel like the mid-impact just hasn't really been there from either side. And at that stage in the game, it's almost as if it's already been decided one way or another. Even 10, 15 minutes in some of the games we saw yesterday, you had this looming feeling of, well, okay, this team is really in a bad spot. And the only way they can really come back is if their opponent messes up. So I feel like the supports, especially the carry, of course, Jo being the star of yesterday. We talked about how he only had 1 death, 40 kills. It was ridiculous. He did fantastic. And then you had Fear and Betas, who pretty much made everything happen. So for IC Cup and Q-pad, it's going to be, can their supports deliver the same kind of consistency that EG did?
And about that, if you watch IC Cup's games yesterday, one thing that the supports did all the time, was stacking the ancients, stacking the camps. They made an amazing job of not throwing the cards to the floor, but also of actually... You're doing it on purpose now.
No, I dropped that.
Playing with the motherfucking cards.
Trans is angry. You made Trans angry, and then he hits me.
You're gonna look for that. I'm gonna pick it.
I will have to do that, Trans.
It's fine. It's the nation
I
apparition.
think that
We
was
don't need
Ricky
that.
or something. It's
Station
fine.
apparition, we
Ricky's
don't
he's
need that
stealth
hero.
mode. You'll never be able to find him. He's level 6.
But yeah, they
I got Ricky.
I was talking. They made a great point of actually having the supports do something all the time, checking the rooms, stacking the camps, stacking the ancients. The rotation was really, really good. Of course, at the moment of executing in the team fights, Mouse was a little bit better, especially in that game 3. But, I mean, if you can make your supports do that, feed your carry, feed your mid player, and even your offlaner if he has a rough time at the beginning, just so that he can be there when you clear the ancient camp, so he gets 1 or 2 levels, that's great. And I haven't seen any other team, not even EG, do that as well as IC Cup has been doing.
Well, the styles are different to me. Like one team, maybe they're playing a little bit more passively. We saw Jackal yesterday playing on that gyrocopter. We were talking about the ancient stacking and everything, and you're right about that. They got a tremendous amount of farm, but that's more of a defensive posturing. For EG, it was trying to find the kills. Even in the game where they had, I want to say, the Undying in the Bane, they were still looking for kills pretty much the entire time. They picked that Undying, a hero who actually has a pretty hard time causing any initiation himself, but Fear still found a way to be very impactful on that hero during even the early parts of the game. So
That was versus Mouse Sports, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really nice.
It was a very weird but cool tri-lane in a way, because you had your Weaver that was trying to get farm, and I think it was the Bane and the Undying together.
Yeah.
And you saw Mouse Sports, they were like, kill the Weaver, go for him. As soon as they realized they didn't get a kill, Fear playing the Undying,
Yep.
he threw down a really nice tombstone, and no one can leave. If you know what I mean, it's just like you didn't kill the Weaver, and you're stuck in the middle of a tombstone fight with creeps and Undying and Bane, and the Weaver just salved up and came back in, and they turned that tri-lane into their favor so quickly.
Yeah.
Just off, you couldn't attack him. It was like so hard to kill that
It is really hard.
lane. So it was very impressive. But for me, looking at QPAD, like the things that they need to bring today, yesterday in terms of their roaming, they tried to execute some pretty early nifty kills. Didn't go in their favor. Also, Wagamama's positioning yesterday, a little bit off in terms of he got picked off a couple of times where he shouldn't have been. There were some nice early TP rotations from EG that maybe caught him off guard, where we talked about the supports actually TPing under 2 minutes into the game, which you don't normally see from EG, but it was the right call. They picked off Wagga. And Select as well. Like, Select, he needs to man up.
Yeah.
Like, he's your off lane. He was on Clockwork yesterday. He was on Magnus yesterday. And he manned down. Like, there was a big fight in middle with QPAD where Singh hit a 5-man scream, and Select started TPing in, cancelled it. But even before he was TPing in, he was low on mana. Why are you low on mana playing Clockwork with Arcane Boots and Bottle? You should always be ready in case something happens. And so Select, for me, needs to man up. His Magnus as well. Like, we saw 1 RP in, 25 minutes?
Yeah,
and
it hit
was
the
on the
ground.
ground. And then when they pushed into base, he had to RP a Spiked Carapace Nyx, got stolen by the Rubik, played by, I think, Beediz at the time, and they just got destroyed. But there were times where Bambo was a little overextending in those games. So QPAD, it's a risky one to even say if they're going to beat IC Cup. But if they take IC Cup, their confidence might give them a really good chance versus Mouse. I think QPAD will probably have a better chance versus Mouse Sports than IC Cup, just because QPAD have probably studied Mouse Sports a lot more going into this group.
For me, Mouse Sports is the team, like you mentioned it a second ago, they're going to be waiting for the winner of this game, and it's like, Mouse, this is their claim to staying relevant. If they get knocked out here, Mouse Sports pretty much drop to the same tier as everyone considers maybe the QPAD Red Pandas to be IC Cup, Absolute Legends, all the teams that have already kind of fallen off in the qualifiers. So this is the make or break for them, even more so than it would be for the teams that you could consider to be maybe a bit newer. Sure, QPAD Red Pandas, they want to qualify to prove that they're here to stay and they're a legitimate team, but Mouse has been around forever.
Yeah.
And this is like them struggling to stay afloat.
But Mouse have done amazing. Like, as a team that had roster changes and then all German lineup, they've done amazing. And yesterday, you can say that the team that proved themselves that they should be going through today are Mouse Sports. But IC Cup already lost to them, so IC Cup, maybe you don't want to write them off because they could potentially win. But it would be interesting to see if QPAD get to play Mouse. But based off how Mouse have played, in terms of they've got a really good kind of team synergy, Fatter's playing really well in terms of mid.
Qualifier.
He's like he wants to be black or something, I swear, because he's just farming up just as much as their carry player black. So it's like he's really making a difference in terms of when it comes to those fights. And Mouse Sports I've seen shine a lot more when they have a couple of heroes that are big impact as opposed to just one alchemist. You know, it's like a lone druid and a life stealer is good, and you know, two kind of frontline heroes.
I feel like teams nowadays, and this goes for Mouse especially, they're picking these defensive styles because they're scared. They're not sure that they can actually take an aggressive game versus some of the competition, especially.
So we had Bruno's
teams.
toupee in the shot there. Can you do that again, Bruno?
Toupee? Where? Oh, excellent. I didn't even notice because
he was leaning forward to talk to Trance, and I was like, "What the hell was going on here?" Yeah.
Bruno stole my hair. That's where it went, by the way.
Weapons, you're very quiet during the segment. We're gonna beat you up to talk in a moment. But go on, Andy.
I was going to mention that for Mouse Sports, I think they're better suited to put Fata on something like a puck. He actually performed very well on that hero when he got his hands on it. And yeah, picking the Slark is pretty cool, but it's a hero who forces map control by just being annoying. You know, if he finds a solo kill here and there, it's not really that big of a deal. A puck can force a big engagement, or he can punish extremely hard. I feel like they need that to just buy room for people like Qualifier and Black to actually get farm. Because if they don't, then it seems like their supports and everyone else, they kind of just get run over in the laning phase in the early game. That's kind of the story 2 times in a row for them against EG, and they just couldn't ever recover.
All right, Webhaz, what have we said right or wrong? Come on.
Well, I feel that, like you mentioned, with the Mouse defensive style, just the other teams, Icy Cup and Cupid here, they don't play aggressive enough in the terms that EG did, that Mouse's style most likely will prevail against both those teams.
That's
just
probably,
because like they get so much control by playing that defensive style, and Cupid and Icy Cup aren't really comfortable enough, I feel, when they play to try and force a reaction. They're just waiting to on Mouse to do something, and then they try to react to that instead, which means that the defensive style can just farm up more with having an Alchemist as a carry or Lone Druid or Lifestealer. They just get so much more room to farm, and then it's just really hard to win the fights because you can't really kill those heroes. They're just so damn strong.
I think the laning phase will be incredibly important to if you're a team able to take down Mouse Sports, and that's going to be the second game. But where we're going first is going to be Icy Cup versus Cupid Red Pandas. And it looks like we're going to be kicking that off in just a moment. So unless you've got anything else for us, Bruno?
Of course, I always do. We've been talking so much about Icy Cup and Red Pandas, but people want to see the faces of their players. So we're going to introduce the team, just so that we can relate with the happy faces of the people who are trying to go to the international trans place. So for the Cupid Red Pandas, we have Sing Sing playing carry, sometimes mid, Select playing mid, sometimes off lane, Wagamama playing off lane, sometimes mid, and the supports, always supports, being Jerax and Mini. For the side of Icy Cup, we have Jackal playing carry, Resolution on the mid position. The off lane is Mag with those nice sunglasses, and Always Wanna Fly and We Just Sick are the supports.
I got to say, Resolution yesterday, it didn't matter what happened to him. He was getting farm mid really well.
I gotta.
No?
You say that, and I'm like, he got farm. I'm not gonna say that he didn't get a farm, but I never felt his impact in games. The one mag game he played, it was okay. And then
he missed some opportunity, but the point is like he was getting the items and what he needed to happen. But he was up against, like, there was only one big team fight, I remember, that he really could have done something amazing and completely missed the opportunity. Like, missed the skewer, couldn't get an RP, ran away, threw a shockwave on Magnus, it went between 2 heroes. It was just like the worst moments you could have in professional gaming, just mess that up so much. And that was a big team fight that he lost for his team versus Mouse Sports. But his mid play, in terms of just how he plays mid and the farm and the control and how he handles that lane by himself, he was very good.
Yeah, the consistency of his laning phase is always spot on. So I think that's what you're trying to get at. My point is, the consistency is great so long as you actually have an impact on a hero like Magnus, because if you're getting that hero, you're going to have a lot of pressure. You're the one who's supposed to be making these big turnarounds, these clutch RPs. And like Demon yesterday, when he played Mag, he had some really nice RPs, and they were actually focusing him pretty hard, especially in some of the later stages of the game. So for me, it's like a lot of people can play Magnus and get farm. It's one of the easier mid heroes to farm on in any matchup. Queen of Pain, Puck may be a little bit annoying, but you got to be more than just able to farm if you want to qualify for TI3.
Well, it's still hard for Magnus. You know, I was yesterday night. It was about 4 a.m. I was still awake for some reason. I was talking to Dendi, and he was watching the qualifiers as well. Since Dendi is watching probably now. He was talking to me, and I said we were talking about Magnus. Like I hate when teams like pick Magnus all the time. It's like he told me in his very special way of saying Magnus is one of the weakest, if not the weakest, mid heroes. But the fact that he has so much impact later in the game is why people still pick him. But once people start figuring out, if there's a slight nerf or people start figuring out how to actually kill the Magnus, because I mean that's the thing he has. He has Skewer as an escape mechanism and he's quite tanky and he always bottle crows. Once people start figuring out if you can kill the Magnus in the lane, then suddenly he becomes useless because he doesn't get his blink dagger, he doesn't get his arcane boots.
Yeah.
And I mean some heroes, particularly Skywrath Mage, which then he plays a lot,
spam him down and
are able to do that. But yeah, coming back to this match, and specifically this tournament, we're going to have some stats before we start because we have 3 more minutes.
We'll go for stats. We probably won't go to a break now. We're going to be starting the game off in just a couple of minutes. And Andy, we can check with you just before we go stats how the team's looking in the lobby.
Oh, everyone's been ready. Icy Cup actually got here like 40 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. All right, but we'll start on time because that's the scheduled time. So tournament information, here we go.
This is tournament information until day 3.
Whole tournament.
Yeah, look at Demon. 10 kills, 0.3 deaths per game.
That's
JO, sorry, not Demon.
I'm looking at Demon there.
Yeah, you can
You
look
told
at,
me today.
let's look at Demon. 6, 2, and 13. 401 GPM. Of course, EG doing very, very well, so his players doing really well as well. JO now, yes, 10 kills, 0.3 deaths, and that's 12 assists. 592 GPM, getting the farm. That's 600 GPM per game. Of course, that's all winning games, but still, getting 600 consistently, it's really impressive. And finally, in the middle, we have BZZ is perfect, the Rocks Kiss player, with 7.5 kills, 7.6 kills, 2 deaths, 8 assists, and 538 GPM. In terms of heroes, Slark has been one of the heroes of the tournament. I mean, we've all paid attention because this is such a hero that we all like to see, especially because he has such a great impact.
He's just good looking too.
And he's really good
Look at
looking.
him. Look at that dental.
Yeah, fishy. Lone Druid, 9 games played, lots of games played for Lone Druid. 6 and 3, 66% win rate. And they're, of course, Keeper of the Light, not surprisingly, one of the best supports, getting a 4-1 record, 80% win rate. And for the Wars heroes, we have Nature's Prophet, really not working this tournament. Magnus, which we've been talking about being weak.
So just basically Q-pad heroes.
Yes,
Is that what you're trying to say, Bruno?
that's what I was going.
Shadow Demon is not there, though.
He's right. That's Wagamama was
Yeah, Wagamama played Furium. Select on. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll
We'll
see
see.
how they come out
Yep.
today. It's interesting information, but yeah, Jo played amazing. Demon as well. His Storm Spirit. That's a great way to shut down a Magnus, which he showed us versus Cupid Red Pandas.
Yep.
And the fact that they can play that with the Life Stealer Bomb was just huge. Anything else? Any other stats you got for us?
No, we should go straight into the game because it's 17:23. So when people watch this, it will be 29, and they will be expecting the game. Magic.
Magic.
It's almost like I started it knowing they would be
Yeah.
expecting the game.
We can join you in the draft if you want. You
Yeah.
can,
You guys
if
are welcome
you
to
want
stick
us
More
to,
likely.
we have our mics on, and then you can tell us where we're putting things wrong on the board. So, Andy Wepaz, it's IC Cup versus Cupid Red Pandas, the lower bracket semi-finals. Loser of this, their road to TI3, the now $2 million tournament, I believe, unless people are trolling me on Reddit, and they're just
is not
photoshopping
familiar
everything.
Nope.
The road to the $2 million tournament could end here in a best of 3 in the biggest prize pool in esports ever. Focus that I said ever like I'm some sort of 16-year-old girl there. That's how
Ever.
It's,
ever.
yeah,
It's
impact.
the biggest tournament prize pool ever. All right. and we're in the Bandit drafts, and we'll get the mini map up, and then take it away, Andy and Wepez for now.
All right, so what's on both teams' mind right now is, for the love of God, please don't let us lose here. You don't want to lose here. This is where you want to make your stand. For the Cupid Red Pandas, this is where they can really make a statement, say they are a legitimate team. IC Cup, they come into this tournament at underdog. Nobody really knows what they're going to be bringing to the table. They had some pretty off and on performances. Sometimes they looked like they had potential. Other times they just couldn't quite get through the mid-game and get that late-game stage without already losing way too much. So a lot on the line here, Wetboss. We see the bans have already started out. It's going to be a Keeper of the Light, and it's going to be a Bat Rider.
I feel that the pressure is really on the side of Cupid. just because Icy Cup, like you mentioned, they came in as an underdog, and people weren't really expecting them to go far, and then playing so well against Mouse, really showing that they can be up there. Of course, it's really annoying to get knocked out, but it's still, they kind of proved themselves to be a deserved invite, so it's really on to Cupid now to prove themselves, and we saw some fast first 3 picks, Icy Cup picking up the Nature's Prophet, and Pandas answering with Clockwork and Mag straight away.
Two of the heroes that, correct me if I'm wrong, but most comfortable with, probably. The question is, who's going to play the Magnus? Because I assume either Sing or, of course, Select are going to play one or the other, just not really sure what the positions are going to be at, so we're not sure which person's going to be playing which hero.
I think we have to wait and see a bit in the draft, because I do know that Pandas have been trying Clockwork mid a bit, depending on the hero they go up against. Of course, Clockwork mid works quite well. You can get a fast level 6 as well, and you can have a bigger impact, especially if you're not a support Clock. They usually get level starved a bit, and offlane Clock, if you're having a really hard time, it's hard to get the level 6. So in mid, of course, you can get a lot of farm, faster level 6, and have a bigger impact. But Select is usually the one that plays Mag, so we'll just have to see if he's going to play it in the offlane or if he's actually going to take it mid this game.
Okay, so Icy Cup, they're looking at 2 more. They start things off with the Nature's Prophet, and the first thing that comes to mind is Split Push, and they're going to go ahead and secure themselves a Gyrocopter too, so obviously the potential carry
I
that
got
they're going
it.
to be grabbing
Yay.
right here. James, he's got it. James,
There we
what do
go.
you think about Gyrocopter here? And now Puck.
Right here.
It's Puck, I feel, is really good versus a Magnus anyway, in terms of being able to have the first say on initiation.
Yeah.
So I like Icy Cup's initiation better. The Gyrocopter is their most likely carry. It's decent, it's strong. It depends how much room it gets. I would like to see Cupid Red Pandas to go pretty aggressive in terms of how they're going to rotate their supports here. They've got the Shadow Demon, so that's a really good pickup for them. Shadow Demon's pretty much been banned out so much this tournament.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how many games Shadow Demon hasn't got in. So Icy Cup looking to play a safer game, it seems, from just their lineup.
I would actually say that both lineups look pretty safe at the moment. I mean, you get a Clockwork, a Magnus, and a Shadow Demon. Yeah, they can be used aggressively, but they can also be used defensively very, very well. So maybe Cupid Red Pandas have like this kind of hybrid style so far in terms of the overall picks. They can make a lot happen either way. But the bans, of course, Phantom Lancer and Anti-Mage taken out here by Icy Cup, and Rubik Jakiro banned by the Cupid Red Pandas. So clearly, Icy Cup, they don't have a support just yet. Maybe the Cupid Red Pandas are trying to get their hands on Alina.
I feel that the Cupid's lineup at this point is not as predictable as Icy Cup. Puck, you pretty much always want to try and run mid, of course. Nature's Prophet, you can run him either in the safe lane or long lane. And Gyro, with the way Icy Cup played yesterday, they always ran him in the safe lane just to be able to get as much farm as possible. But on the side of Cupid, you got a Clockwork Shadow Demon, which could be the 2 potential supports if you want to run either an aggressive tri-lane or a defensive tri-lane. Mag can be long lane, mid, as well as Clockwork can be in long lane and mid as well. So we'll have to wait and see what they want to try and go for. If they actually want to try and secure down another support on the side of Cupid, or if they actually want to run the Clockwork and Shadow Demon as their 2 supports.
Well, Cupid, they banned Shen, and to me that says they're scared of course, the 5-man early push potential that we've gotten to see before. You get that mech, you get the Hand of God, and that 5 versus 5, especially against not really the greatest damage output team that Cupid have put together so far, you really have to wait a long time to really feel like you're that much of a threat in terms of what they can bring to bear. But Icy Cup, they're going to pick Visage. This is actually a hero that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Zik has actually played a handful of times already in this tournament.
I believe he played it. Didn't he not play it every game except, or I'm guessing 2 out of 3 games at least? They picked it up. They always ran it in the safe lane together with a Gyrocopter. I believe one of the games they had a Rubik instead of a Clock, but they had it at least 2 out of 3 games, maybe even 3 games in total. So they're really comfortable with that Visage, of course, and together with the Gyrocopter, you kind of stack up that soul assumption really fast. You can start pushing those nukes out as much as possible.
I'm really interested. Sorry, I'm really interested to see what carry Cupid are going to come up with here.
5 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
It's I don't think Void will combo that. Well, it's nice, but I think they have Clockwork and Magnus to make
They
stuff
have-
happen. It could be an Alchemist or something.
I don't think Void, because we have 3 melee melee heroes already. If you put a Void in there, well,
Ooh, what about a Luna?
Luna could work, but we've seen that Tranquil Boot carries have dropped out completely. I mean, when was the last time you saw a Tranquil Boot in this tournament? I don't
Not
remember.
for a very, very long time. The problem now lies in the fact that You used to be able to use Luna in 1 versus 1s because of Tranquil Boots, like Bruno was mentioning. But you can't do that anymore because you actually get harassed and it takes way too long to regenerate inside the lane. So it's not as safe. If they wanted to do that, they would have to put a defensive tri-lane. So basically the way you guys have lined up the minimap would pretty much be working out.
My
But
God.
IC Cup, they're going to go with the Alliance style.
Yeah.
They're going to pick
I'm
up
ready.
an Ogre Magi. So
That's
now
Jakiro.
they're
That's
going
not
to have
Ogre Magi.
Bloodlust.
What?
Yeah, the Bloodlust
That's
is a really
Jakiro.
nice pickup for Gyrocopter, just to be able to get even higher damage in the early game. You need a few less items just to be able to. You still get that attack speed from the Bloodlust, of course, but like we mentioned, Cupid Red Panda's most likely going to look for a carry. I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually
10
want to try and
seconds
go for the
remaining.
style where they run a farming Nyx, but they need something that can start in the jungle if so. And
5 seconds
the only hero I can
remaining.
see in the pool right now that can start off in the jungle well is actually a Tinker,
Reserve
but
time.
I don't think that would fit their lineup too well.
I think what James said earlier actually makes a bit more sense. The Alchemist choice would have been very nice for them. Just because if you look at IC Cup right now, they have a pretty good amount of focus damage. But you have a Shadow Demon to try to counteract that. You have Clockwork, Magnus, some of the best counter initiation in the business to be able to save that hero. So if you're looking at IC Cup and you're thinking perhaps they don't want to run an aggressive tri-lane, then you could get away with the Alchemist. But on the other hand, if they do, that tri-lane coming out of IC Cup is actually very, very dangerous, as we apparently have a Shadow Fiend and something else. I didn't see what it was.
Skeleton King, I believe.
Skeleton King, okay,
He lost.
yeah.
But it's
lost.
okay, he
But
comes back to
it's
life.
going to be a lone druid coming out.
I was going to call it actually. I had it in my hand, but I just thought I'd throw up a Skeleton King for a laugh.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with picking up the Lone Druid here is that they could actually run their style where they go for the farming Nyx in the safe lane. Lone Druid can easily start off in the jungle. As soon as Nyx hits level 6 with Arcane Boots, he just starts rotating instead. It's going to be hard if IC Cups run an aggressive tri-lane, but in their games against Mouse, they actually did run defensive tri-lanes and just try to get kills there because they were expecting aggressive tri-lanes against them. So it might work out if they, of course, want to run that style. So we'll have to see how the lanes shape up, but Waga picking up that Clockwork, so most likely going to be playing on the offlane and then select, of course, on the mag.
Well, let's take a look at the players really fast here from both these teams. Remember, guys, this is the last shot for IC Cup and the Cupid Red Pandas. If you're a fan of either team, you damn well better be rooting for them here in this game. So for IC Cup, Resolution is going to be playing on that puck. Visage going to be played by We Just Zik. Ogre Magi played by Always Want to Fly. That Gyrocopter going to be played by Jackal. And then finally, we're going to have Mag playing on his Nature's Prophet.
And on the side of Cupid Red Pandas, we got Sing playing on the Lone Druid, heading down towards bottom lane. Mini picking up the Nyx Assassin. Select in mid on his Magnus, actually starting off with a bottle straight away, so no bottle rush here, just starting off with it straight away to be able to harass out. And then Wagamama picking up the Clockwork, and that leaves, of course, Jerax on the Shadow Demon.
And starting with the bottle, that's, of course, something we don't get a chance to see very often, but really the whole purpose of buying the 3 branches in the set of tangos is just to be able to secure a couple of early last hits. But if your only goal is to get a bottle to Bottle Crow and spam Shockwave anyway, it's really not a huge loss to not have 3 extra stats, in my opinion. So we'll see how Select manages to do in this middle matchup. And he's probably going to be against that puck being played by Resolution. And for me, IC Cup, again, they have this feeling where Resolution, he's now given a hero who I feel like can have much more impact. Because Mag, like we were talking about pre-game, is a lot harder to execute, I think, in a lot of situations. And if you look at the side of IC Cup 2, you have Visage with Familiars who can actually just randomly hit you, Nature's Wrath, call down, a lot of AoE potential coming out that can disrupt Select's initiations.
You're kind of forced to go BKB, especially to be able to dodge the magic damage coming out of IC Cup after that Blink Dagger, of course. But he might even have to go for the mech unless Wagamama gets some really good farm. But I'm guessing with the Bottle Rush or getting Bottle level 1, it's most likely because Select might not feel as comfortable in mid, especially going up against Resolution.
We got a smoke
Yeah,
here.
smoke up straight away, so they might try and go for first blood in mid here. Select still hasn't skilled anything.
You shall not.
He's definitely going to need a skewer if they want an opportunity to try to kill a puck. They are going to be revealed, though. Resolution is here. What's he going to skill? It's actually going to be Orb. Is he going to be able to get to it in time? Select. He wants the skewer. Is he going to be able to get it? Resolution manages to jaunt to the Orb just in time. So no first blood coming out from the Cupid Red Pandas, but at the same time, they didn't really need to help Sing in this bottom lane because he's going to be a Lone Druid going up against a Nature's Prophet. And in this matchup, we've seen that Lone Druids do just fine.
As soon as Lone Druids hits level 5, you kind of force the Nature's Prophet out of the lane just because you don't want to get rooted. And if you get rooted, you have to instantly TP because you're going to die otherwise. So it's a nice matchup. Mag, we've seen him play it before, though, against Black in the Mouse Sports games. So he's actually doing quite well, just being able to get that harassment out on the Lone Druid. But Mini and Jerax moved their way down here, so they're going to start pulling now and making sure that Mag can't really get any farm. So he TP'd up into the jungle, and is just going to try and catch up there.
Now, this is really common from most offlaners nowadays, the Dark Seers, the Nature's Prophets, the Lone Druids. Anytime you ever see them in that role, when they see that they can't really get anything done, they simply rotate out. They find the farm inside of their defensive jungle. But we also had a chance to see Mag before he left. He used his treants to block both poles coming in from the side of the Cupid Red Panda. So Jerax and Mini not getting enough, well, maybe too much of a statement, but not getting what they wanted, at least in the very, very early stages of the game. And as you had mentioned before, Mini is actually here all by himself in lane, and he's starting to farm up.
Yeah, Sing hitting level 3 on his bear, so he's going to start moving into the jungle instead. We actually went for another level into Synergy just to be able to tank up the bear, get some extra bonus damage as well. So, like we mentioned, Mini's going to be farming away here, try and hit level 6 as fast as possible, and get those arcane boots up.
Middle lane, we can see Select. He's taking a pretty savage beating here. He's still waiting for his bottle to come back, and it's about 2.5 minutes in, so no Crow actually just gets upgraded, as I mentioned that. So now he's going to have a little bit easier of a time, and as to be expected in this top lane, this Clockwork, going to be struggling a bit, but Icy Cup kind of fumbling a bit on their lane control. Looks like it's pushing a little bit, but there is a range creep there from the Cupid Red Pandas, so it looks like it's going to be going back in favor of Icy Cup here in just a minute.
Even though Icy Cup's lane isn't super strong, it's still very hard for Waga to go up to the lane because the Ogre stun is very fast, so they can just move in straight away, and then of course you got the follow-up slow, so it's going to be hard to get away from that rocket barrage. So it's a good decision from Waga to just stay back a bit, make sure he doesn't get killed, because you don't want to lose first blood, especially in an offlane, whereas you know that if you move too far up, you're just going to get instantly killed.
And this stun especially is going to be really scary. Waga doing some cogging here in the top lane just to try to delay the creep wave as best he can, but it's very, very difficult to get the lane back if Icy Cup just control it properly, so he's probably not going to be getting a whole heck of a lot. He does actually have 7 CS though, which is fairly impressive considering the fact that every time we look at him, he's basically sitting behind his tower. So all's quiet so far, 4 minutes into this game. Remember guys, it's just game number 1, so at the very least one more game going to be coming your way after this in this first best of 3 series for the day. And I'm looking at Icy Cup's lineup, the global presence they have, the ability to just take engagements whenever they need to with the puck, with the familiars coming out from Zik once he manages to hit 6, and then of course the Nature's Prophet to TPN. They can take fights anywhere at any time.
Their ganking potential is great. The thing is though that if they start taking 5-on-5 fights, Cupid is actually going to be very strong, just being able to have that RP up, of course. But if Icy Cup...
Oh, middle lane, Select. There's a double damage on Resolution. Select actually jukes back. This is most likely going to be the first blood. Select trying to teleport up. Mag going to teleport in on that Nature's Prophet. He actually teleports too far away. Select, though, not going to be able to escape. And he contests the double damage rune at top and ends up giving away a kill. Not really sure why he tried to chase that. It should become actually fairly obvious if you can't get the rune.
Especially since he's been falling behind so much on last hits as well. He's been forced out of lane pretty much just because he's been bottle crowing and playing it very passive. And I was looking over a bit earlier, and Select was having 7 last hits, whereas Puck actually did have 9, and now he's just so far behind.
Yeah, it was a definite issue, but we did get to see Select. He goes for the double damage here. Resolution actually picks up the double damage. Mag cancels a couple of TPs. But there's no way Select can really get out of here, even with teleporting. It's a really, really tough situation for Select when he wants to try to get away, and then Mag suddenly comes in right there. We did see a little bit of harassment being dealt to Waga in that top lane, but he ended up getting away just fine. He had that full creep wave to protect him, so all is well right now for the Cupid Red Pandas.
Yep, and a really nice first blood going the way of Icy Cup. But like I mentioned, Resolution has really started to take control over this mid lane. He's up to 26 and 9, whereas Select is falling behind on 13 last hits. So he's got half the last hits that Resolution has, which means that he's not falling behind too much just because you're on a mag. He's level 5, so he can just start spamming that shockwave. It's very hard for him though to be able to go into melee range and get last hits. So
you're talking about level 5. That Puck is level almost 7. So the level difference in this middle lane, absolutely tremendous. Select just not really having the start that he was looking for. And Resolution, because he's had such a fantastic start, he's going to be able to get that Blink Dagger that much faster. And he actually face it, but Select unable to actually make contact with that Shockwave. But Mini, he's level 6. He's got those arcanes, something that Cupid Red Pandas love to do very, very often. And he's looking for a kill, but it's just it's so hard to kill Resolution. And you have to think for a second, this had to have been miscommunication, because Select just shoved that wave when the Vendetta Nyx was coming to gank him. So now the Vendetta has pretty much been wasted.
Yeah, the first Vendetta not really doing anything, and like you mentioned, most likely miscommunication, Select pushing the wave up, and then Resolution just staying behind the tower. I'm guessing they were hoping to be able to catch him once he was moving down towards the room, but with the lane pushing to your tower, you don't actually want to start leaving that, so because you're going to miss so much last hits and experience. And like I mentioned, miscommunication. Mini is going to try and make some work with this next Vendetta though.
He kind of has to. If he doesn't make anything happen, then the whole strategy behind the Nyx Assassin is to help create some semblance of space. And luckily for the Cupid Red Pandas, they can actually send somebody in the jungle. But middle, Select, he is level 6. He has enough mana to skewer. The coil is going to be there from Resolution. A TP's coming in. It's going to be Jerax. He manages to get the defensive disruption off, but I don't think it's actually going to be able to save Select. He doesn't get the RP. He gets Waning Rifted straight away. He will get the double RP right as he dies, and here comes Mini. He hits the higher health target just to ensure the kill. The mana burn comes out. Give Mini the double kill. Very, very nicely done. Zik has to use the Grave Chill to retreat back to his side of the map, and here comes Wagamama with the hook shot between the creeps. Unbelievable shot coming out of Wagga, and they make it a turnaround. It's a 3-for-2 exchange, and the Cupid Red Pandas come out on top, and Sing is here now to push the tier 1.
This is going to be an easy tier 1, and a great rotation coming out of Cupid as well. Wagga coming in with that hook shot, securing the 3rd kill, because there was a dive and a rotation coming out of the supports of Icy Cup. And the disruption there really helped them being able to get the RP out, and then of course Resolution didn't have
TPs.
Phase shift to be able to dodge that, and TP's coming in, but Sing is still going to be able to finish off the tower, and it looks like nothing would really come from this. Icy Cup actually TPing in Jackal. I believe he used his TP, canceled it in the end because he saw that nothing would happen, but still a lot of TPs, reactionary TPs coming out of Icy Cup, and they still didn't manage to defend that tower.
Cupid Red Pandas bringing themselves back into the game in a very big way during that last exchange, but let's also not forget Jackal. He's been left to his own devices here in this top lane. He's sitting at about 38 CS, not the highest. And of course they did just lose their tier 1, but still much more Dota to be played here. It's 3-3 at just about 8.5 minutes inside of this game. Wagamama, he has his arcanes now at 9 minutes. That's actually huge. Just being a part of that fight, being able to get the extra assist gold, being able to land that hook shot, secure the kill on that Visage, and such a gigantic reaction coming out of IC Cup. They actually waste a pretty good chunk of their money and time during that.
Getting the arcanes up this fast together with a bottle means that he's going to be able to start working his way towards the mech as well. And the mech is going to be great in this lineup. Like we talked about, the global presence out of IC Cup. You really need that mech to be able to help.
It's actually going to be a bait. The call down is there. Mini going to get hit by it. He tries to use the carapace to send out Jackal. I think it actually did end up stunning him. Jerax with the defensive disruption. Wagamama going to throw out the cogs. He hooks to his teammates. The Nature's Wrath is there. And the Orphan Resolution barely misses. But unfortunately, the Waning Rift does not. Mini going to get coiled underneath the tower. The stun is missed. Resolution with a very nice phase shift. Here comes the solo assumption from the back. And IC Cup, they manage to get 2 kills. Wagga and Mini both end up dropping right there. So I mean, there was a Vendetta right there on Mini. He probably could have gotten extra damage off. I'm not sure why he felt that he had to stun Jackal using that call down.
Most likely a miscommunication coming out of that as well, because they got the Soul Catcher up on the Ogre Magi, which means that Vendetta would have done so much damage, but they lost out on... He came down to about half HP, and then they couldn't really do anything, so... Miscommunication, 2 heroes going down on the side of Cupid, and a great rotation coming out of Resolution, TPing up there, and Select didn't even have a TP, which means that he couldn't have helped his team out either.
A very interesting trade so far in this game. A lot of kills, 8 kills in about 10 minutes, so a little bit under a kill a minute. I have to get Bruno's exact stats on that because he's a stat man, not me. But Sing, he's been farming for a very long time. He's got his Midas pretty much done. It's been done for quite a while, actually, and he is sitting at 52 last hits, second highest in the game. Second to only Mag, who is on the side of Icy Cup, of course, playing on that Nature's Prophet. But as soon as Sing gets one more item, say he wants to go for the Armlet, it's very, very common. Say he wants to go for the Maelstrom, we actually had a chance to see that yesterday. There's a lot of different choices that he can make, but all of them involve trying to get some semblance of map control away from Icy Cup.
I would like to see both Maelstrom as well as Armlet coming the way of Sing. Maybe go for that Basher, but both of those items are going to be huge in a team fight. I mean, the Basher is always nice,
Wagga.
but oh wow.
He's going to find Always Want to Fly all on his own. Unfortunately, the Battery Assault is going to be wearing off. The Sprout's going to be there. Actually gets canceled. It is nighttime. Resolution with the invisibility rune. Is he going to get the 3-man silence and coil? It's going to be so close. He actually only goes for 2. Wagamama is there, but he doesn't have hookshot, unfortunately. Select is going to die without being to do much of anything. Resolution might be the next one to go down here. He pops the wand. The stun comes out onto Mini. They can't seem to finish him off. Waga with 5 seconds left on that flare. Here comes the Demonic Purge, and Resolution is going to be dropping. So it's still a 2-for-1 exchange. Mini and Select, they both go down, but at the very least, they do manage to secure the puck.
Killing off the puck is always great, but on the other hand, Cupid still lost their mid hero as well as a support, and the Nyx Assassin is very important for him right now, just because he's level 8, so he needs to use every Vendetta to be able to get a kill, and right now he's actually missed out on 2 kills with those Vendettas, and he's dead when the, I believe, 4th one is coming off cooldown now, so they have to start getting some more kills with these Vendettas to be able to utilize the Nyx Assassin to the most, or to the fullest.
Kind of on the same page with you there. If you consider that Jackal, he hasn't really been touched. They went to the top lane to get ganks on the side of the Cupid Red Pandas, but they got supports. It's not really their goal. They really want to use Mini to try to get a kill on the Gyrocopter. He's got 800 health. That's like a Nyx Vendetta combo and then one other hero throwing out a nuke. Maybe even a flare would be enough to actually kill him. So I'm not really sure if the movement so far of Cupid Red Pandas has been exactly what they're looking for, and Mini, he's actually going to be running right past the sentry here in this bottom lane as they do ping it out, so no one is actually going to be getting caught by him. He actually just decides to go out of stealth anyway and just farm the creep wave. Now the next choice for him, it's pretty obvious, it's probably going to be a Blink Dagger, but to a certain extent, how are they really going to abuse his initiation? Because so far, Select, he's been getting focused really hard by Resolution in these fights.
Select is 0-3, and he's most likely not going to get his Blink Dagger as fast as Mini. With the rate that Mini's farming, and with the kills he's actually been getting.
Bottom lane, Sing. Good night. Here comes the coil. The almost entirety of Icy Cup is here. He's so incredibly tanky, but he's just farming in no man's land. The tier 1 tower just so far away. There was no chance for anyone else on the side of Cupid to actually help him right there, and that's a bit uncharacteristic of Sing. I gotta admit, it's normally he doesn't do that, but that was just incredibly greedy.
He usually doesn't get caught, but Icy Cup getting a really nice kill, going their way. But like I was mentioning, Select at this point is not going to finish off his Blink Dagger before Mini if Mini keeps on farming like he's been doing, which means that they're not going to have any follow-up to Mini's initiation if they don't, of course, have a hookshot.
See Jackal here doing some creep stacks, and this is the one nice thing about maxing out that flat cannon, having cooldown on such a short cooldown, is you can just get an absurd amount of gold, especially since the Cupid Red Pandas, they're putting a lot of emphasis on mid and bottom lane. Well, Jackal just gets to sit up here by himself. He still has him a touch. He has enough for his drums if he wants to buy it, and Mag, he's working his way towards that Shadow Blade. Sing just managed to pick up something, not actually sure what that was just yet, but Blink now completed on Puck, and apparently the choice by the Lone Druid was that armlet.
Yep, his bear is dead though for 20 more seconds, I believe, since I believe he resummoned it before that fight, and then when he got killed, he had it on cooldown, so he's gotta wait 10 more seconds before he can actually pick up that armlet, and his Midas is on it as well, so he's losing out on quite a bit of experience as well as gold.
Well, right now, Cupid Red Pandas, they're just sitting on their side of the map. They're content to try to get some farm. The problem really lies in the fact that Icy Cup, their lineup allows them to engage anytime. As long as Resolution sees somebody and they know that hero is alone, you're going to have the Nature's Wrath, you're going to have possibly the Familiars, you're probably going to have the Nature's Prophet teleport in, and things are going to go south from there. And Mag actually trying to do some ancient stacking, but Mini's illusion here going to be a little bit too strong to have that happen. And there's some movement actually coming up top now, coming out of Cupid. And Wagamama's been quiet for the last couple of minutes, but he is actually very close to his mech. So even though they haven't really done anything aggressive in the last couple of minutes, at the very least, when he gets that item, I assume that might be what they're waiting for.
It feels like they're just waiting for some of the core items to come up. Most likely, like you mentioned, the mechanism on Wagamama, as well as the Blink Dagger on Select, would probably be their cue before they actually want to start moving. And Blink Dagger, like we mentioned earlier, getting closer to Mini as well, and looks like Jerax and Mini actually rotated up top here, so we'll see if they want to try and pressure this tier 1 tower.
I think it would be the right call to try to make something happen. Of course, they don't know this, but right now Icy Cup are doing a pretty hefty ancient stack just to get some people a little bit extra gold, of course, and experience. So Jackal going to be receiving a pretty big boost here, and they do this a lot. Like every time they get Dire, it seems a bit easier for the Dire side to defend their stacks than it does for Radiant, because Radiant's ancient area is a bit open. compared to what you can actually do to run uphill into Dire. It just seems a little bit more dangerous. And right now, Cupid, they can't see anyone right now, and you can definitely tell. They're pinging the tower in that top lane now. As we can see, Mag has decided to finish up his Shadow Blade. And if they get this tower, this is going to be the mech. And this is going to be incredibly important for Cupid.
We see a smoke coming up from Icy Cup as well. I'm guessing they want to try and catch out Sing. See if he's in that jungle. Bear is here, and they're going to find Sing as well.
Sing all by himself. They see top lane getting pushed in. The cooldown's going to be there, and the Nature's Wrath. The reaction just too slow. Wagga, he goes in, but unfortunately he only hits Familiars with a hookshot Jackal. He wants to try to get the return kill. The cogs are going to be there. The Familiars giving vision to Icy Cup. The Soul Assumption and the defensive disruption coming out of Jerax. It buys him a little bit of time. It's not going to be enough though. The blink in from Resolution and the Waning Rift do secure the kill. So again, Icy Cup, we were talking about it. They can fight whenever they need to. They always aggressively smoke. They look for the picks, and as soon as they saw those 3 heroes pushing that top lane, they just jumped Sing and killed him straight away.
Select was actually there, but did not have enough mana for a skewer as well as an RP. I guess he was farming jungle with his spells, which means that his bottle was emptied out and he didn't have arcane boots up, so they couldn't get any follow-up to help out after the hookshot. So kind of a misplay, but really nice from Icy Cup, getting another kill on Sing, just stopping his farm as much as possible.
Well, Cupid definitely on the back foot here in game number 1. It's 4-10, around 17 minutes in, but Select, he secures this Blink Dagger. This is the point where they can start initiating or counter-initiating and potentially taking some really high-impact fights. The thing about the Cupid's team is their lineup is never really out of the game. You have a Shadow Demon, you have a Magnus, a Nyx, and a Lone Druid. Clockwork, of course, going to be very good for base defense. They're actually smoked up behind their tier 1 Familiars. Going to be doing a bit of damage as Jerax actually reveals himself just to pull the creep wave off. But still, this slow siege is going to be the bane of Cupid, because everyone on the side of Icy Cup, they don't really have to stand near each other. They can try to spread out. Select, he wants to go for the RP. He finds 2. It's going to be Jackal and always want to fly. Stuck under the tower. Resolution comes in with the immediate counter-initiate. The damage coming out right now onto Icy Cup seems to be a little bit too much, and it's already going to be a 2. Make that 3 for nil exchange, as Mini is actually the first one on the side of Cupid Red Pandas to go down. Zik trying to make it back to base. Mag, he gets rooted in by Sing, and that's going to be a 4-for-1 trade. We talked about how important and pivotal that Blink Dagger would be on Select, and he actually makes a very nice play there.
Select doing what James wanted him to do, just manning up, jumping in, getting the initiation going there. And it was a great RP coming out, and then the skewer back, of course. Resolution was really quick with the counter-initiate, but I believe that Mini actually had his Spike Carapace up already, so the fight was very hard from that point on.
As we can see right here, Select, he goes in from the side, he gets the double RP, goes in, Resolution was there with the straight coil, but Mini with a beautiful Impale pretty much turned that around. Of course, the RP was already there from Select. Anyway, Resolution dies to the tower right there. And then, of course, as soon as they try to retreat, Mag, he pops a Shadow Blade, he's like, rooted. Not really the best situation if you're Mag. So, unfortunate for Icy Cup, but I gotta say, Cupid needed that fight.
That fight was very important for them, just to be able to open up the map, get some more farm going the way of Sing. He's getting closer to finishing off his armlet. I believe he only needs about 100 gold to be able to get that, and Mini's about 20 gold away from finishing off his Blink as well, so he's going to get the Blink Dagger up to this creep, and that's going to be another big item for them. Like we mentioned, Mechanism up, Blink Dagger on Select, and now Blink Dagger on Mini as well.
The lead right now, still going for Icy Cup, but not by much. It's less than 2,000 gold in the 20-minute game, and the experience is about nothing in favor of Icy Cup, so dead even right now in the first 20 minutes of this match. But you look at Cupid's lineup and you think to yourself, the late game, they pretty much got it secured. They're going to have an empowered Lone Druid, obviously a hero who's never going to go for a BKB, so you know you're always going to get full benefit from that. How important RPs are going to be in the mid to late game stages cannot be emphasized enough. And of course, Resolution had a gem that last fight, and he did end up giving it back, or I shouldn't say back, but he did end up giving it to Cupid. So now they have a bit more counter warding potential, as we see hookshot miss, and this middle lane coming out from Wagga.
Jackal's going to need quite a bit of farm this game to be able to bring down Sing once he starts tanking up on his hero. Lone Druid generally is very tanky, but once he gets those levels up and maybe some items up on his hero as well, it's going to be hard for Jackal to bring him down if he doesn't manage to finish off an MKB before the later stages start taking or start going the way, because he's really going to need that big physical damage.
The blink in coming out for Mini. They're going to find Jackal. The rocket's going to be there. No hook shot coming out from Waga. Can he get in range to Cog? The battery itself is actually there, and it simply does not matter. Jackal cannot get away fast enough. Mini actually expended his vendetta just to get that kill on top of everything else. And the Familiars, they're floating away. They don't want any part of this. Jackal getting caught out very similarly to how Sing got caught out a little bit earlier. So it seems like both carries from either side right now just not the best positioning, as now the tier 1 is being pressured here by Keypad.
They're not going to be able to stop this push.
Oh, blink in from Resolution. They want to try to get some kind of kill. A buyback coming out from Jackal. He's not actually going to be able to teleport into the tower just yet. Resolution looks like he could be dropping. And Select, he gets a brilliant RP on the back lines of Icy Cup. Then it's a 3 for nil exchange. They get the tower. The buyback from Jackal. He didn't even have a TP. Couldn't get to the fight. I really got to question the decision making right now from Icy Cup.
Mag trying to split push down in bottom, but it's not going to be successful. Both Jerex and Mini TPing back now, so they're going to be able to counter push this out. They might even be able to get the kill on Mag. They got the gem up, so...
They're trying to chase him right now. Blink's still down for a little while longer. Mag, he does get that bonus move speed, of course, so Mini having quite a hard time chasing him. Nice Sprout coming in from Mag, and he actually decides to make some treants on top of everything else. But in the meantime, Cupid, they take the tier 2 in the top lane. Icy Cup, they don't have any rebuttal whatsoever for that push.
It was a great exchange for Cupid, being able to get 2 towers there, killing 3 people as well, and stopping the split push out of Mag. I have to compliment Mag though on that Sprout, and then making the trees, just stopping Mini being able to blink after there, because he still had the mana to be able to blink on him, so he managed to get out of that fight. But in the end, a really good fight for Cupid overall.
And Jackal continues his farm now, as he has wasted quite a bit of money, I must say. We spoke at length about how important it was going to be to hold Jackal down here on the side of Icy Cup. And now he's got 2 deaths to his name. Not only that, but a buyback. We can see circling from the side of Cupid. They know that there's something going on around here, but they're not quite sure what it is just yet. The one thing that we can say right now is that both teams not necessarily having the most vision. There are 2 wards around mid here for Icy Cup, and then there is another ward actually just being placed, as we mentioned, that towards the bottom rune spot, and of course the one top that's going to be fading here in just a couple of seconds. So both teams still trying to vie for that map control. I think the Icy Cup, though, their map is shrinking for them.
What do you feel Select should go for right now? He's got about 3,000 gold. Do you favor him going for a Refresher Orb straight away, or should he try and finish off a BKB just to be able to make sure that he can follow up in these fights?
Now, the BKB is the sure choice. We've already seen that if he finds the RP, there's no chance from Icy Cup. Like, they don't have anything to come back. Resolution is being relied on here pretty much solely to be counter initiation. If he can't get a silence off on that Magnus, then there's not going to be anything stopping Cupid from just running all over them in his engagements. And of course, since his income has been a lot higher than it was during a laning phase, he's actually the 4th highest net worth right now on Select. They can just very easily rush the BKB on him and feel completely safe in taking any engagement.
Usually you don't actually have the mana either for the Refresher unless you go for
Yeah.
drums in between, so I'm on your side there. Going for a BKB would actually be very nice, just to be able to get that RP out in every situation of the game. Cupid trying to sneak a Roach here. We see the Familiar scouting it out though, so it's not going to be successful. Waga keeping up top, actually getting a hook shot on Mag with a Dust as well, so this should be an easy kill for Waga.
And oh, the Nature's Wrath! Mini actually killed him because of Carapace across the map. Select, he's stuck right now. Always want to fly, going to be able to throw out that Fire Blast as well. Jackal getting skewered in all by himself. He's not going to have the damage output to seal the deal, but Mag, he bought back. He picked off Jerex on the back line. Select also quite low on hit points. Here comes Mini. He blinks in. He gets a stun and always want to fly. There's already 2 down. Make that 3, and it's a triple kill for Sing. Mag, the only one right now in the area for Icy Cup. He had to buy back for that kill, and now Cupid, it looks like they should be able to get Roshan.
Yeah, Sing with the items on his bear should be able to finish this off. He's finished off the Skull Basher as well, so he got Armament as well as Skull Basher, which makes his bear so damn strong. Just being able to push as well as going into the team fights and getting a lot of damage out. Waga back here now, managing to get the experience as well. So Aegis going the way of Sing, and this is going to open up the tier 2 pushes for bottom as well as mid.
It's very scary right now for Icy Cup. They just lost a couple of very big engagements. They lost Roshan. They don't have any towers in their top lane anymore. They have a tier 2 mid and a tier 2 bottom. So the map control for them, we mentioned it earlier, it's shrinking very, very quickly. And at this stage, what are their real options? Because Sing is getting to a point where he's too tanky to really take down. You said a Gyrocopter needs a lot of farm to be able to actually take these team fights. How do you turtle this?
with the gyrocopter being initiated on as well, he's being forced to go for a BKB. And how you turtle this, I would say just try and counter push as much as possible with the Nature's Prophet. The problem is, since Resolution had a gem and they gave it to Mini, they're always going to be able to find him, and Waga carrying dust as well, so he can't really get away from the fights with the Shadow Blade that he's picked up. So it's going to be hard for them, but I would guess that Nature's Prophet is going to be their safest bet just to be able to counter push.
And Select, he gets his BKB. So now, not having to worry about silence, not having to worry about a stun coming out from Always Wanna Fly or any of the multitudes of magic damage that Icy Cup have to offer. And Cupid Red Pandas, everyone had their doubts in Game 1 about how their performance would be here against Icy Cup. And Icy Cup, they didn't really have the best debut either here at the TI3 Western Qualifiers, but they still showed they could potentially contend with some of the Tier 1 teams. So now, Tier 3 gets given to Cupid for basically nothing. And this bear is starting to become a pretty big threat. Just look at the melee racks getting beaten down right here. Icy Cup, they really need to do something about this. The Soul Assumption is going to be there. The Medallion had been popped, but they just give away melee racks for free. Resolution, he's going to get initiated on. He does manage to get the phase shift off. Can he actually blink away? RP hits 2 on the back. It's going to be Mag and Jackal together. The 2 best heroes that you can hit. Buybacks all over the place. Wagamama, Resolution, they both buy back, and Jackal as well. But Mini, he picks up the double kill. He gets the kill on Mag. A bash onto Zik. Can he get a root? The Grave Chill is there. It looks like he will be able to get back to the base. Jerax now taking quite a bit of damage from Jackal, and it looks like it could be a bit of an overextension or not, because Mini gets the double impale. It's a triple kill for this Nyx. A blink back in coming out of Select, and even with the buybacks, it doesn't seem like Icy Cup can actually take this fight. And he gets rooted right outside of well range. The skewer misses, but it doesn't even matter as Sing, he gets a double. I can't even count how many heroes from Icy Cup actually died right there, because it was definitely more than 5.
There was a lot of buybacks there, and we can see the buyback cooldowns going up on the puck as well as the gyrocopter, so both of those must have bought back. The Ogre, neither the Ogre nor the Visage actually had buyback there, so Cupid gonna rotate into mid, get the tier 2 tower there as well, and then maybe just start backing out. But at this point, they're still quite far ahead, and they might feel comfortable enough to try and take down the tier 3 tower in the base.
You can see the difference in the last 7-8 minutes of the game. Cupid Red Pandas have just been taking these amazing fights. This doesn't really feel like the same team I watched yesterday. This doesn't feel like the indecisive Select that really couldn't find the opening for RP. This looks like a confident player who knows that he's had extensive experience on this hero, and he can find the openings, he can get the kills, and he can make the big plays happen.
They probably smacked him around a bit, told
Yeah,
him that he really needs to start initiating, because they can't just have him wait with the RPs like he did yesterday, and he's really started to show that he can actually be quite good on the gyrocopter, or the Magnus, of course. But Waga has also had really nice play on this Clockwork, finding hook shots everywhere, as well as getting some great cogs out.
And Cupid, they are just on full-out aggression mode right now. And Jerax, he gets himself a pair of drums, so he's looking pretty happy for a Shadow Demon. I mean, this is a full support Shadow Demon, so he's not going to be the richest guy in the world, but still, Cupid looking poised to take Game 1, and Icy Cup, they put up a pretty good fight during the early game. There were a couple of pickoffs, especially Sing. He ended up dying twice. So Icy Cup did have really, really nice movement. It just gets to a point where they didn't properly spread out in these fights against Select. They kind of had a little bit of tunnel vision. They were trying to focus specific targets down, and they got punished really, really hard for it. And I feel like that's kind of playing into Cupid's strengths when you pick these lineups that you're trying to fight them with. As long as Cupid are actually there, they are really, really good in team fights.
Yeah, that's one of the things we pointed out, that the global presence of Icy Cup is great, but if they go for 5-on-5 fights, it's going to be so hard for them to actually take the proper fights, just because an RP on either just 1 or 2 persons, getting it on Jackal and Mag like they did last fight, is just so big for them, just because they can't really fight after that. They got the Ogre Stun, but what else do they actually have except for the Dream Call out of that?
Well, everything is looking pretty scary right now for Icy Cup. When you have to deny a tier 3 tower because you know Cupid are going to get it themselves in a couple more seconds, you know you're not having really the best time. But Aegis going to be dropping here in just under a minute, so we'll see if Cupid can actually make use of this. The Bear is empowered, runs straight for Jackal. Jackal, of course, has that Bloodlust on. and he's trying to do what damage he can. Resolution looking for an opening. It looks like Waga's going to get a counter hook shot, but a 4-man coil coming out. Select, he pops the BKB. He manages to get one with the RP. Unfortunately, it's only the Visage. Always want to fly, though, just getting mauled down by that bear. The buyback coming out for Mini. Select does manage to blink out of the enemy base. Resolution gets entangled in place, and Sing manages to claw him down. He wants to go for Mag. The Aegis, unfortunately, 20 seconds left on it, so he's going to be able to make use of it after all. As Mag, he dies, buys back again, and another root this time. It's going to be on Jackal. Select blinks in, throws at the shockwave, and it's going to be enough to get the kill. Mag, he gets rooted too. Are you kidding me? Sing, who turned him into Admiral Bulldog, just rooting every single person on the side of IC Cup. They call GG, and QPad, they take game 1.
This really looked like a different team today. Just playing super confident, the rotation out of the supports as well. They failed the mid gank, but they didn't keep on trying after that. They just went back to pulling, went with a strat where Nyx actually farmed instead. And after that, it's just kind of went their way. Even though, like we mentioned, they got some really nice pickup kills on Sing, he still got a lot of farm just because of that early Midas.
QPad today, whatever doubts they had in day number 1 of Group B have clearly left them, as this match today, I think, proves what everybody was thinking this entire time. A very talented squad of players. All they needed was perhaps a kick in the ass, as you mentioned earlier. So today, a very convincing performance in game number 1. We're going to be going into game 2 in just a couple of minutes here, guys. QPad Red Pandas, though, they're looking pretty scary, even if you're looking at the likes of perhaps DD or Rock's Kiss in Group A.
Yeah, they're looking a lot stronger than they did yesterday, and if they keep this up against IC Cup, it's going to be tough for IC Cup to take the next game. But one of the things that I felt that they didn't really have this game is that their supports did a lot more yesterday.
Yeah.
Now their supports kind of just stayed up in top. They got one good rotation, like we mentioned. They killed off Sing once or twice in the jungle, as well as in the lane. But after that, they didn't really do too much. And it was kind of late already when they actually did that, because Sing had his Midas. He'd had it up for about 10 minutes. And it's just so hard to stop a Lone Druid, especially if you don't have the ward control and can just gank him even more.
And Sing even had 2 deaths in the beginning of that game, I will point out, at least I think in the first 15 minutes or so. But James, Bruno, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was definitely a better overall performance, but IC Cup also left a lot to be desired compared to how well they played yesterday.
Yes.
You have to look at some of the laning phases and what happened. In terms of the top lane, we did notice that Wagga was probably getting more farm than he deserved.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the lane control from the 2 supports and Jackal on the gyro wasn't top notch. And
there was some point where Andy mentioned that the lane control was going on Select's way. Just as you were saying that, they were making a double pull, like from here, a single pull, and tried to pull this camp straight away. They failed. They had a catapult even in that pull.
Yeah.
That went like 3 full waves just next to the tower for for Wagga to farm. And also, I mean, if you have a tri-link against an off-lane clock, even if you're not getting
apparently Chance wants to show us the fight here.
yeah, but it's fine. We can keep talking.
Oh, it's a filler.
It's a filler.
It's a filler. Watch the fight, guys, but enjoy what we say too.
People can do 2 things at the same time. Don't underestimate our viewers.
Kappa.
Kappa. But yeah, I mean, even then, like, even if the clock's getting something, Gyro should be getting everything. And he wasn't. We saw that 50 minutes into the game, he had drums, and face.
His farm was really lackluster to me.
Yeah.
Like, he had like a Helm of the Dominator, I think, after that, and then he didn't get anything else.
Yep.
Yeah. What hurt him the most, though, was that buyback for the tier 1 tower fight top. Resolution made a very nice initiation, and Mini was quite fortunate because he was currently carrying the gem not to die.
Yeah.
And if Jackal was able to come in, that would have been pretty huge in terms of that could have gone. If you take that gem away, the map control and all the dominance that QPad showed later stages might not have been there. So that was a big point as well, and that really hurt Jackal. The supports on IC Cup, great job in terms of stacking Ancients, and they really got everything. Like, it went completely under, went on under QPad Red Panda's noses. They had no clue what was happening in that stage. Select's performance mid, a lot to be desired. Feeding first blood, chasing a DD rune against a puck, pretty crazy. Fortunately, though, because Sing Sing was actually in the jungle, he was able to just move into the lane and get some farm. But what I do really like is the way that they use these 2 heroes as roaming. And then, even though it didn't work, they prioritized the Nyx Assassin that got very powerful. Even the SD had some time in the lane to farm himself mini, while Singh was just farming up in jungle. But the big turn point for me was Resolution knew he had an advantage from mid. He was like, I am big, you know, I've got a blink, I'm looking really good right now. They buy a gem. It's a great choice. I think buying that gem was a really good pickup.
Yes.
The biggest problem they had was that mid fight here. If that mid fight went in IC Cup's favor, that could have been their game. So even though the end of it was like all Q-pad, that one fight, the IC Cup gave away the gem and gave a lot of gold and gave up a tier 1 tower mid, which is really important tower to give up. That was IC Cup's biggest downfall. They had the right idea, didn't execute the fight well enough. So still, this could go to 3 games. Impress the Q-pad, yeah, you know, they did look like they were moving a lot more. They looked like they had a plan. They weren't waiting back and farming. But IC Cup gave them that room after they gave them the gem because you just feel so safe. What happens when you put the fear back into Q-pad and they kind of turtle up too much and then you get the picks? That's where IC Cup need to go. IC Cup need to basically control the map more and guarantee that they get the farm, because they were doing great at the beginning of the game. They got the most kills. They were looking good on farm, looking good on XP. The only things that was bad for them on XP was the 2 supports here were level 6, while Jarex and Mini, what are their names, sorry, the 2 supports?
Always want to fly and we're just sick.
Yeah, always want to fly and
We're just sick.
we're just sick. We're both level 6 at the same time as the SD and Nyx Assassin from Q-pad were level 8 almost, I think. So there was a difference, just the way they strategized this area of the map. So decent game. I could see it going for 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if it would also be a 2-0 based off the confidence that Q-pad will get from the first game, which I feel is probably the most important thing to them as a team, knowing them personally. But I'm
Yeah,
trying
they're
to-
an emotional team.
Yeah.
So if they get the first hit in, as they have here, there's a very good chance that they could just ride that momentum into game 2 and just make it a 2-0 sweep. But we want to go straight into the game because I think both teams are ready to go.
Well, we want to do a quick couple of minutes break,
Okay.
if that's okay. I'm sure the viewers at home are okay with a couple of minutes. So we'll literally just disappear for a couple of minutes. We'll bring out the brackets. You guys can grab yourselves a drink. That's exactly what we're going to do. There are no liquids in the studio.
No,
No
we
liquids.
need more
Liquids.
strong liquids.
Yeah. So we're going to go away just for a couple of minutes. When we come back, it's going to be game number 2 between Q-pad Red Pandas and IC Cup in the lower bracket of Group B. If IC Cup lose, they're out of the tournament. If they bring it back, we're all tied up. See you in just a moment.